Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, people. It is about 12:30, 12:37, Sunday afternoon. Let me slow down, because I was warned about this area, because I surely was on 51 in a 35. It is Sunday afternoon. It's about 12:37. I am on my way to make a quick stop, a quick pickup from the farmer's market. You know, we have several farmers market. We have several farmers markets, and I'm running over to the Grant Park farmers market, and then I'm going to be running on over to Madison's house for PhagTawlk. I'm running over to the Grant Park farmers market because I have to pick up something for myself. But then Madison come calling me this morning talking about, I want some pho. Can you pick us up some pho? And so this place doesn't necessarily sell pho, but they carry ramen. They sell ramen. So I sent her the menu. She said, "Oh, this looks good." So anyway, I'm on my way to pick that up. We were supposed to be starting the show at 1 o'clock, but clearly I won't be to Madison's house. I won't be at the pho place or the ramen place until 1. So good luck and good night. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Yesterday was Saturday. And yesterday, I'm sure some of you already know this by now because you probably saw a piece of the behind the scenes that I posted on my YouTube channel this morning. But yesterday I filmed Telling Our Stories, the couples edition. I have to tell you, I must tell you, you're going to get your life. I have to tell you that this is by far probably my favorite one that I filmed. And listen, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed Black Gay and Aging, especially the very first one, especially the reunion, and especially the one that I just released, I guess, 2 weeks ago. But this couples edition, is pretty special. And it's pretty special because they were so open. Yes, because of the honesty. Who said that? T-Baby. Because of they were so open. They were more open than I anticipated. They were more open than I anticipated. But listen, I asked all of the questions. And they answered. They answered. And I was just like, okay. And you guys are going to meet for the first time a couple that I have known and admired. I've known all of them. I've known all of these people for the better part of 20 years. Some of them I've known longer than that. In particular, I'm talking about Terry and Richard. You're going to meet Terry and Richard for the first time. Wait, what was this question? When you feel heard, it's easy to be open. Okay. You're going to meet Terry and Richard for the very first time. I've known them since I was 22. 22, maybe going on 23, but I believe I was 20. Yeah, I was 22. I believe I may have been just turning 23. I think I was like about to turn 23 or whatever. But I've known them since then. and you've not met Terry or Richard before on my live stream at all. I don't think I've ever even had any video of either of them. I'm more than certain I've never. You may have seen a photo of me and Terry before because we've gone out to dinner and but I don't even know if I've really posted the picture of us. You know what I'm saying? I know we've taken pictures, but I don't think I've actually posted any pictures of us. Um, but just to give you a little background, uh, Kay, I think it's Kay. You're not gonna have to binge watch it because I'm dropping the whole thing all at once. You know what I'm saying? So like when I did the last one, I put the entire 2 hours and 45 minutes up, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I don't know how much footage it is because I still have to do my thing on the back end in terms of like putting in other pieces of things that I think are germane to the conversation. So that always extends it a little bit too. So it's not just the conversation. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know who that was that sent that. Oh, I'm coming to a light. I can look. Thank you, TJ, for the super chat. I can't wait to. I can't wait. Craig, I wanted to share what happened Friday. Why I can't see that full message? Um, but so we filmed for sure. Uh, at least 2 hours. It was over 2 hours. It was a little over 2 hours because I also had some behind the scenes footage that I do for Patreon. I had that camera, my other phone, well, this phone that I'm talking to you on now. There's some footage on here that I'm going to send over to Cassandra to put on the end because once the camera stopped, we were still talking. And so I had Lynn capture that part of the conversation. So we'll add that into it on the back end, but I wanted to capture that piece of the conversation as well. But Terry and Richard, I've known since I was 22, 23. Terry and I became closer because Terry, and they tell this in the episode, but I just want to give you a background, just a little background. So Terry and Richard had dated for a year, and then they broke up for a year. And during the about a year and a half, they broke up for like a year and a half. And during that year and a half that they broke up, I met Terry. I met Terry during the year and a half when they broke up because Terry was dating a friend of mine. Terry and a friend of mine dated for maybe 2, 3 months, something like that, nothing significant. And then they ended up going their separate ways or whatever. But Terry and I remained friends. And what ended up happening was obviously Terry and Richard got back together because I'm now 49 and they're still together. So they've been together now 28 years. And I know what you're thinking, that there's been some cheating or some openness. They've not done either. They said that they have never, Terry said he's never, was it Terry? Yeah. In fact, Terry said he's never ever been on an app. He's never been on an app. And Richard said, I'm not a person that sleeps around like that. He said, in fact, he tells the story about when they broke up for that year and a half. I don't know why these comments aren't rolling through here. I want to see them. But anyway, he tells the story. Hold on, let me refresh this camera. Okay. So Richard tells the story about when they, during that year and a half when they broke up, um, that it took him a year to even go out with somebody else. Now, Terry, he dated and went out and stuff like that, but Terry said he's never been on an app. And Richard said it took him about a year to get over Terry, to even go out with somebody else. And then he shares a story about how, and I knew this part of the story because, like I said, Terry and I have been friends over the years. And I've asked him, like, how did y'all get back together? But Richard started throwing parties at his house because Terry loves a party. Terry loves a good party. Terry loves to dance. Terry's from Detroit. And he ended up, Richard used to throw these parties all of the time, and Terry, of course, would come to the parties, but Richard was throwing the parties for the sake of Terry coming to the parties. And so, but anyway, they ended up getting back together. They went to counseling first. They started slowly getting together for dinner and going out to the movies and spending time together like that before officially getting back together. And yes, he was going to get his man back. And he said they went to counseling for about a year and a half, and then they just eased back into the relationship. And but they really talked about what was going on and why they didn't work the first time. And you got to remember, when I met them, I was 22, 23. They were like early 30s because they're about 10 years older than I am, or close to it, if not 10. But they were young, so you got to think about the dynamics when you're young, and just all of those things. And but they talked very openly. We talked about finances. But then there was another couple who talked about they've had threesomes. You know what I'm saying? And then the third couple that was there said, we've never done threesomes, but I'm not opposed to it. He said, when we came into this relationship, I was never for anything like that. He said, I'm not saying we're looking to do it. He said, but if it happens, it happens. He said, but that's not something we're out here actually looking to do. But the one couple said, no, we've definitely done threesomes and that kind of thing. But then Terry and Richard said, we've never done it. And listen, I've always felt in my spirit, I never knew for sure, but I always felt in my spirit that Terry and Richard never had that kind of thing going on. And that's the reason why I've always been drawn to their relationship, because that's the one that I identify with most. And because I don't believe that you have to open up the relationship. They also talked about how they met. And you won't be fascinated to find this out because obviously it was a different time, but they all met in person. There was no online such and such, but they also talked about the differences now and how meeting online is very different and how it can change your relationship. And they all said they don't know if their relationship would have survived if they had met during the time of social media and or online dating. But we talked about that extensively. Two of the partners, and they're all married now, but two of the partners have talked about health scares that they had with their partner. So it was so fascinating. I did not want it to end. It was really, really good conversation. I think it's going to be amazing for people in the queer community who don't have examples of relationships in their life, who haven't seen a demonstration of it. I think it's going to be a great conversation for those people. I think it's going to be a great conversation for people who have been in relationships that have gotten stale, because they talk about how they maintain the freshness in their relationship and how they keep the relationship going, and how they keep people outside of their relationship on the outside. They also talked about the importance of family support for their relationship, and I talked about how not having that family support can really be to the detriment of the relationship. That's a privilege that oftentimes straight relationships have. You oftentimes will have your family support, unless your family just doesn't like your spouse. But generally speaking, you're going to go through the door with the support of your family. You don't always have that with queer couples, because one or both of you may come from relationships where your family just they're not with that. They can't get with it. They're not open-minded. They're not, you know what I mean? So then when your relationship hits trouble or faces trouble, you don't have that first line of defense, which is usually your family, to help bring you back together. I shared the story about my nephew and his ex-wife when they were together many years ago, and how I had to fly home to kind of hold them together, because they would have fallen apart years before they actually fell apart. But family stepped in. And thank you for ordering the sea moss. It's really great for you. Just 2 tablespoons a day. Now don't do like Jack and be eating the shit up like applesauce. Jack sat there and ate damn near the whole jar. But but it's a great conversation. But like I said, they were so open and forthcoming, and I just wasn't expecting it. I mean, they talked about when one of the partners lost his job and how the other one had to, lift him up. But it required the partner who lost his job to be open and to say what he needed financially. And just to be able to open up and just talk about that and be vulnerable. So it was a really, really great conversation. The only thing that I wish could have happened was that there would have been some female couples involved. I had three different female couples. One couple wasn't going to make it, and I knew that ahead of time because they're long distance. And one of them lives out of town. The one woman, she was on an earlier season of Telling Our Stories. So she lives here, but her girlfriend lives out of town. And so the scheduling didn't line up where she would be in town. She wanted me to pipe her in, through video. And I was like, no, that's going to change the dynamics. And then there were two other female couples who were supposed to be a part of the conversation. One of them got stuck out of the country, so she didn't make it back in town. And then the third couple, I just don't know what happened with them. They never followed through. They never followed up. They were communicative up to a point, and then I never heard anything. So I don't know if they had second thoughts later. I don't know. But it happened the way that it was supposed to happen. And I think maybe it was just supposed to be a conversation with the three guys. And then later I'll do a conversation with just women. I'll just do a conversation about relationships with just female couples. But these couples that were there yesterday, one couple had been together for 28 years, one 25, and the other 19. 19, 25, and 28. And they all know each other. And so they all talked about how, like, the youngest couple, if you will, the one that's been together for 19 years, they defer to the other two couples when they go through stuff. Wait, how did you all handle this? You know what I'm saying? They've talked about those kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? They get together, they go to dinner together. They talked about the importance of being around other couples, healthy couples. They talked about how they've gotten tips from each other. Well, not from each other, but the youngest couple got, when I say youngest, I mean the one that's been together for the shortest amount of time. But none of them been together for a short amount of time. But 19 years was the shortest of the three. And they talked about how they've gotten financial tips from both of the other couples, financial tips. And what they all agreed on was they all noticed that the couples that they've known over the years that haven't made it, that didn't survive, all had separate financial lives. They all had separate financial lives. And they all said, we don't know how people do that. They said, it's not to say that people have to do things our way, but they all said they don't understand how people do that. They all talked about how they have their own separate accounts to do things that they want to do. Like if you want to buy yourself something, or you want to buy yourself a birthday gift, or when you buy me a birthday gift, you don't buy it from the joint account, you buy it from yours. But they move together financially. They talk about how they put their paychecks in one account, and then they both get a percentage to put in their separate accounts. So I put my whole check in an account, you put your whole check in an account, and then we have a separate account where we do whatever we want with it, but we break a piece of that money that we put in this main account and we put it in our individual accounts. And so one of the couples, Richard, said, Terry and Richard, like I said, Richard said he handles the money. Wendell said he handles the money in their relationship. And I believe Todd handles the money in their relationship. But again, it's about not having a tug of war over things, like being able to turn things over to the one who may be better with money, who may be, you know what I'm saying? So they all have different roles. They are not gender roles. They talked about who does the cooking, who does the cleaning. And not because it's a gender role, but because you're more passionate about cooking and you're more passionate about the kitchen. And, because you'll see when you watch the episode, because they really talked about how they were arguing and bickering over little things in the beginning that were really immaterial. They were really ancillary things that really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. They talked about red flags that they had in the very beginning of their relationships. But now looking back, it's so petty and small. Like the things that they thought were red flags in the beginning. Uh, And so again, I hope that you'll see yourself in the way that you function in relationships, and recognize instances where maybe you've been petty, or maybe overthought things that didn't really matter, things that were insignificant. But Richard was saying that he's just more conservative. He handles the money in the relationship, but he's more conservative with money than Terry. But they all said that they have an agreement that if you're making a small purchase, $200-300, whatever, we don't have to have a conversation about that. But if you're making a major purchase, like you're going out to buy a car, no, we need to talk about that. And then they talked about how, like, they have like a card, like a credit card or whatever that they use to splurge on. And each month they say, okay, you got X amount of dollars to splurge on this card this month. But Richard was saying that he's very conservative with the way that he spends money. And he said when he's looking through the bills, he's just like, oh my God. He said, but that's not more important than what we have. And I said to them, I said, are you with your type? Are you with your type? Did you marry your type? Guess what? Everyone except Richard said no. Richard said, oh no, he's my type. And then Terry said, oh yeah, baby, he got his type. But none of them are with their physical type. And so Todd said something very poignant, and I can't remember how he phrased it exactly. I'm not telling you the entire thing. Trust me, I'm just giving you highlights. This is not the whole thing at all. Not at all. There's no way possible that I could give you over 2 hours worth of conversation in this short conversation. It's not. But Todd said something very poignant, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said he wasn't my type, but he is my type. I think that's exactly how he said it. He said he wasn't my type, but he is my type. So in other words, he was just saying at the time he wasn't my type, but now after being with him, I realized he is my type. And he talked about how he used to go after the gym boys. He used to go after the boys with the body and all of that, until his cousin pulled him to the side here. Again, that family support. His cousin pulled him to the side and said, a female cousin pulled him to the side and said, you always going after all these superficial things. You always going after the looks and of somebody's body and all that kind of stuff. And she told him, you need to go for someone who has a good soul, who has a good spirit, who's going to take care of you if something happens, who's going to be with you, through those kinds of instances, not that bullshit you thinking about. And he said it changed his life. He said it resonated something in him. Let me pull up my directions real quick, because I am looking for. Okay, down here. So anyway, so yeah, but it was a very, very, it was an amazing conversation. It really was. I don't know when it's going to air yet, because we're about to start touring with PhagTawlk. We're going to be in Nashville on the 27th of this month. The tickets are already on sale. If you haven't gotten your tickets, get your tickets. We're going to be in St. Louis on the 29th of this month. Those tickets are also on sale. Then we're going to be in DC at the Howard Theater on February 15th. That's the day after Valentine's Day. And then on the 16th, we're going to be in Baltimore. All of those tickets are already on sale. My hope is that the show will drop either the end of February or the beginning of March. But I can't, don't quote me, because I don't know. Because I have to watch it many times. And I'm trying to finish my book. I got this tour. So, I got other things that I got to focus my attention on. And then also it's contingent on Cassandra's schedule, because she does the editing. So it just depends on when she'll be able to get to it. But I always have to lay eyes on it and I always put, my little finishing touches on it and things like that. So possibly the end of February. Most likely it will probably be the beginning of March, but we'll see. Because my plan is to put these out every 2.5 months. And so since we just put one out in December, January, February, yeah, so that would be about 2.5 months when I drop this next one. So I want to kind of keep them like, in some sort of a rotation like that. We are working on Dallas. We're waiting to hear back from the House of Blues. And we're working on the Houston House of Blues as well. The guy was on vacation. He's supposed to give us some dates when he gets back in the office this week. And we're also wait, what? And we're also what is this damn farmers market? Hello?
Hi, Craig. It's Kathy Grisard from Closets by Design. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Can I give you a call back though?
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to check in. So, yes, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye. What is this damn farmers market? Um, I think that's the farmers market right there. See, I ain't never been out here for this farmers market. This is where the ramen is. There ain't no parking spaces. Okay, here's one right here. Don't you hate when people call you, and of course they don't know that you don't, have time to pick up no call. But I didn't recognize the number, but I just went on and answered it, and I'm just like, man, I don't have time to talk to you right now about that. All right, let's look and see if we can find this farm real quick, and if not, we still got to get our ramen. Did I? Oh, I got it. Let's see. Uh, y'all want to see the farmers market? They finishing. They close up at 1 o'clock, and I think I just got here a little too late. What is Woodland? Uh, excuse me. He got on earphones. It's all windy. Excuse me. Have you heard of Woodland? It's called Woodland something. Is this the farmers market?
Yes.
Um, I can't think of the name of it. It's called Woodland. They may have already packed up and left though.
Probably they're close at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're beginning here, but by 12:30 we'll usually hear.
Woodland Wellness is what it's called. Have you ever seen them down here? You don't know. Okay. Of course, I don't see it. Uh, yeah, I think this is a wrap. And I ain't see no damn phone number. They got everything out here but what I'm looking for. What y'all in here talking about? Yeah, I couldn't have been out here vending today. It's too windy. It's too cold. Sitting out here at these tables. I'm gonna have to call these people because I don't even see their setup. They must have left before 1 o'clock. But fortunately, the ramen place is right here at the same spot, so it didn't really matter. I still had to come over here. What is that? I see no kind of directory with who's out here. They got everything but what I'm looking for. This ain't it. All right, we're gonna grab this. Grab this ramen and keep it moving. Uh, did Madison pay for the ramen? Let me look, or do I have to pay for it? Let me look at. She sent me a screenshot. Let me see. Oh yeah, she paid for it. She just sent me the thing saying it's ready. All right, I had a call-in order. I just got a text saying it's ready.
Okay. Right back over.
You go back there?
Yep.
Okay. Hi. I have a pickup order.
What's the name?
What she put it under? Madison, maybe? Yeah, it's under Madison. Huh?
Could you sign it?
Sign it. She already paid for it. Look at God. Look at God. Thank you. All right, you too. All right, we out of here. We're back into the car. Now, why they don't have no way to get down to the parking lot from over here? It's breezy out here, Niece. Oh, it's breezy. It's breezy. Put this food on this side, over here on this floor. We don't need this shit spilling everywhere. Yeah, that was pretty quick, right? She called it in right before I left the house. And fortunately, this farmer's market is right here by it. But unfortunately, I couldn't get my shit. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that later. Uh, let's see. All right, so now we're on our way to PhagTawlk. Amen. Oh God. I thought I was gonna do some writing this morning, but when I say I went back into a full dip, I went straight back to sleep, niece. Amen. It was getting very much so, no, you going to sleep. Hey, BMW, take me to work.
Okay, let's drive to work.
Okay. All right, niece, we're on our way to work. I don't think I got no lip stuff, no lip therapy. Wait a minute, what now? Who said something about me going to work? Not Maddie's house being labeled as work. Yes, take me to work. Take me to work. This ramen smells good. That ramen's. Y'all better not play with Alexa today. I got an email over the weekend. The last bed that I ordered for the last guest room, it came in early. It wasn't supposed to come in until February. But I ordered a rug and a bed, and it came in yesterday. I mean, they emailed me a couple days ago, and so they're gonna deliver it this Saturday. That was the first opening, the availability that they had. But don't you love when shit come in early? Even when you like order stuff like online or whatever, I don't even give a damn if it's a pair of shoes or whatever. Like when your shit come, you just be excited. Because I really haven't had family down because I haven't had a place for everybody to sleep. You understand what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody sleep with me. And then I have one bed already, but then I needed, you know what I'm saying? Like I needed, the other room to be filled. And I'm still gonna get another. A last bed, a final bed, but it's gonna be a pull out, like for downstairs, for like down in the basement. They still got Christmas trees out here. They just put Christmas trees out. What? What? So yeah, so I haven't had them come down. I didn't think they were going to be able to come down until March because the bed wasn't supposed to come until February. But since it's early, we'll see what happens. But yeah. And so now we're leaving. What did you do with the Murphy bed? It's still at the other house. It's still in the wall, niece. It's built in the wall. I went over there the other day for the first time since before I went to Africa, just to go over there, just walk through the house, just to make sure there ain't no problems over there, no broken windows and no crazy shit going on. And I went and spoke to Miss Dolores. I chatted with her for a little bit. What are y'all over here doing? Let me get in this lane, because y'all driving too slow for me. So, I know it's Sunday, but you ain't got to be doing all this Sunday driving. Get on where you got to go. But yeah, so I chatted with Miss Dolores for a little while, and then I came on home. I thought there was a power in the blood, but there's a power in that BMW. Marsha, you crazy. Marsha, you are crazy. And I know I got some Patreon that I need to upload for you guys too, because I have some behind the scenes from yesterday, but I just didn't get a chance to do it because I was trying to finish a bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna upload that for Patreon, because we were laughing and cutting up, getting ready for that. Why are these people walking in the middle of the street? And these are white people with the little girl on a bike. Get over there on that sidewalk. Oh, this is my turn. This is my turn. This ramen smells especially delicious. I'm here to tell you. Hopefully it'll be still warm by the time I get to Madison's, because we got about another 22 minutes before we get over there. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, and listen, don't forget to sign up for Pay for Your Stay. I got the link at the bottom because I've been getting a lot of messages from people asking about Pay for Your Stay. What's the code? How do you sign up? Is that what's floating at the bottom? Yeah. Um, Pay for Your Stay is still a thing. My friend Tito, he actually just got into a study the other day. We're not playing about our Pay for Your Stay. I know I may not always say it because I don't want to beat y'all in your head about it, but it's a real thing. Okay. What is this? But at any rate, I am gonna was that Wendell on the couples edition? Yeah, that was him. He was on the very first season of Telling Our Stories when we were in the backyard over at the other house. Over at the Rockcliffe house, as I call it now. The Rockcliffe house. um, well, not that I call it, we call it, because like whenever I'm talking to like my friends or I'm talking to Damon or somebody, they're like, well, which house you talking about? I'm like, the Rockcliffe house. The Rockcliffe house. But any rate, listen, I'm on my way. I want to listen to a few tunes before I get there. And so I will see you on PhagTawlk. Give us about 30, 45 minutes because I know that girl gonna want to eat before we get on that live. All right, bye.